Morgan Harrington was attending a Metallica concert one night on the campus of University of Virginia with her friends. On this night of October 17, 2009, she got separated from her friends whenever she went outside to smoke a cigarette. Later on, she was abducted, raped, and murdered. It wasn't until 101 days later, whenever her skeletonized body was found 10 miles away on a farm. 5 years later, the man who did this was finally found after he had abducted, raped, and murdered another college student, Hannah Graham. Morgan Harrington and Hannah Graham are just like you and me. They just wanted to go out and have fun with their friends one night, and they did not expect this tragedy to happen to them. Sexual assault happens across the country at all kinds of college campuses, and no one expects it to happen to them. People are always trying to prevent it and find new ways to help others during these situations. One specific state, Virginia, has passed some new laws to try to prevent it from further happening at their state colleges. To understand sexual assault, you need to know what it is and how it happens. I'm also going to tell you about the new laws that Virginia has passed, including the Hannah Graham Law. I'll also help you out with some tips to prevent sexual assault and help you during a situation if you are sexually assaulted. People think that they know what sexual assault is and they know how to handle it during that situation, and most people don't think that they will ever be in that situation, but it happens to people that never expect it. Sexual assault can happen to anyone at any time. There are many types of sexual assault, and there are also many myths about it. According to womenshealth.gov, sexual assault and abuse is any type of sexual activity that you do not agree to, including inappropriate touching, sexual intercourse that you say no to, rape, or child molestation. There are also several different situations that sexual assault can occur. You can be at home, you can be out on a date, you could be at a party, and most of the time it happens whenever you're just alone. Date rape drugs are also used commonly, and they're commonly used on college campuses while people are out drinking and they accidentally leave their drink unattended and someone slips the date rape drug into their drink. College campuses are where sexual assault happens most often, all across the country. Different kinds of cases are happening every day, from just sexual harassment to rape. And then colleges have different laws and different points of view for sexual assault. Some say that any non-consensual sexual contact where consent must be agreed upon before touching can occur, even if it has it happened before, is considered sexual assault. Some just say that in general, if you have sex with someone who is intoxicated, it is considered sexual assault. According to Time Magazine's article, The Debate, How Should College Campuses Handle Sexual Assault? They say, these overbroad, unforceable definitions of sexual assault are counterproductive. They may discourage reporting because the process so often ends with no punishment, or conversely results in punishment of individuals who haven't actually committed an assault. Worst of all, they fail to target the real problem: the small percentage of actual rapists who escape punishment again and again. RAINN, the nation's largest anti-sexual violence organization, recently cited suggesting that over 90% of college rapes are committed by just 3% of college men who are repeat offenders. This correlates to Morgan Harrington's mother, Jill Harrington, and what she believes about what actually happened to her daughter. She thought it was crazy that she wasn't going to find out who killed her daughter until he did it again and they could find the DNA on a second victim. Jill Harrington was also a major advocate for these new laws that Virginia passed. She made an advocacy group called Help Save the Next Girl so that she could help other moms' daughters get found and help save them before they were killed. The law enforcement told Jill Harrington that they were unsure if they could find the person who murdered her daughter, until they found his DNA on another victim. And she thought that was crazy. But Hannah Graham, 5 years later, was raped and murdered by the same man, and that's how they found his DNA. This second major rape was what triggered Virginia to finally pass these laws. According to the article from Al Jazeera America, one of the laws was one that expands how and when police may collect DNA evidence from a suspect. There are now 9 additional misdemeanor offenses for which an adult must provide DNA to the state's databank upon a conviction. The Hannah Graham law was made after the rape and murder of the college student Hannah Graham. This law requires schools to include a police officer and possibly the local prosecutor in their sexual assault investigations. This new law is believed to help find the suspect before he or she strikes again. The law that is known as Virginia's Scarlet Letter Law requires colleges and universities to place a prominent notation on a student's academic transcript if he or she has been suspended or dismissed for a campus sexual assault or withdrew from the school because of a sexual assault investigation. Jill Harrington finally found some comfort once these Virginia laws were passed. She hopes that these laws will help save the next girl. Sexual assault is a very scary but very real thing. It happens to people every single day that don't expect it. And because these people don't expect that it's going to happen to them, they may be making decisions, bad decisions, that could lead to assault. That's not always the case, but there are ways to be smarter and safer on campus. The most important thing to do whenever you are living on campus is to make sure that you and your friends are staying safe, especially on the weekends whenever you're going out at night. The National Crime Prevention Council gives you some tips to reduce the risk of sexual assault. Number 1 is be aware of your surroundings. Know what's going on, know where you're going, and who's going to be there, and if it's going to be a safe place or not. Walk with confidence. If you're not walking with confidence, you're going to be more susceptible to someone who thinks you're afraid and that you can get attacked more easily. Know your limits whenever you're drinking alcohol. Be assertive. Always know that you can say no. Trust your instincts. If you don't feel like the place where you're at is safe or the people around you are doing the right thing, get out of there and get to a safe place. Don't walk alone. Don't ever walk alone or even go on a jog at night alone. Even if you think it's safe or you're in a safe neighborhood, sexual assault can happen anywhere. Have your keys ready whenever you're going to your car or up to your house. It makes you look like you're ready to get in and you're ready to get to that safe place, and you don't have to fidget around in your purse or your pocket to find your keys. Park in well-lit areas. If you're in a parking garage or just a parking lot or on the street, make sure you're under the street lights. Make sure your car's locked, but make sure you have your key ready whenever you are getting there. And don't hitchhike or pick up hitchhikers. You can't trust anyone these days. If you are sexually assaulted, take these tips immediately. Get to a safe place and call 911. If you can get away from your attacker, get away fast and get to that safe place. Call a friend or family member that you trust. If you don't have anyone, you can call the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Also, don't wash off the evidence, because many sexual assault crimes cannot be proven because there's no evidence. And some people will make up these assaults and then there's no evidence, so you just don't believe them. So if you have the proof, keep it and they will believe you, and you can go to the hospital. You need to go to the hospital and get help and get checked out after this assault. And remember, sexual assault is never the victim's fault, like under any circumstances. This reoccurring tragedy happens all the time, all over college campuses, all over the country. But these new laws in Virginia are going to be a test to see if they're going to help prevent it from further happening in their state. The Hannah Graham law and others were finally passed through legislation after the second major rape and homicide case. It took a second major assault case to get these laws into action. Morgan Harrington and Hannah Graham are just like me and you. They didn't expect it to happen, and it happened to them, and now they're no longer here. Just remember this whenever you're going out with you and your friends, and just be smart and be safe.